Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
It's Tuesday night, which means it's time for another not live Wicked Horror Show. I'm Kevin, and as always, I'm joined by Tony has 9 fingers.
What is going on, people?
And yeah, this is a pre-recorded episode. I should put a little like thing scrolling at the bottom just to let Sergio know, because depending on what time he comes in, this isn't live. So if you ask questions, we're not going to answer them, Sergio. It's not live. It's pre-recorded. Reason being, it's my anniversary today. The day that this is airing, it's my anniversary. So I'm going out with my wife. Sorry. I break into the bare naked ladies every once in a while because I hate them. No, it's been 17 years we've been together.
Well,
but not 7.
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It's not 17 years we've been married, but we've been together for 17 years. So yeah, we're gonna go play musical bingo at a Chinese restaurant. We went there like a couple weeks ago. And it was actually a really good time. It was fun.
So what is it like? You get a board with songs on it, and when they play the song, you...
But they don't tell you what the song is, the title, or the artist. You have to know it in order to be able to check it off. So, but it's a good time. We go with some friends, stuff like that. But yeah, so this is pre-recorded. We obviously yesterday was Halloween. Do you do anything specific with your family or in your neighborhood when it comes to Halloween?
It used to be we used to have a lot of kids around the neighborhood, but now everybody's grown up. So we get maybe every year, maybe like 5 families coming. It definitely died down than what it used to be.
First year we were here, we had over 100 kids.
Wow.
And then it just has progressively gotten less and less and less. And then last year we didn't do Halloween at all because of COVID. So I want to say that was around, I think my wife was sick around that time. But we didn't really pass out any candy or anything like that. So, and then now I just got a new driveway and you can't be on it for 10 days. Like they literally just installed it on this past Friday. And so I'm going to go out into the yard with a chair and just sit there and throw candy at kids. But then when I'm done, my plan is I'm going to go out trick-or-treating as Sergio. And when I knock on the doors, instead of saying trick or treat, I'm going to say, what is your favorite horror movie of all time? And then when they tell me, I'm going to ask them if they went to the camp where they did Friday the 13th. And then they're just going to slam the door in my face.
Sir,
Happy Halloween, Sergio. Yeah. It's Sergio-ween is what it's called. Yeah, so there's a few things we wanted to talk about. There's a couple movies we wanted to talk about, TERRIFIER 2 and Barbarian. And you just went to Chiller Theater in New Jersey, right?
Yep, Friday night.
Different venue, or is it
No, it's always in the Hilton.
Okay. So yeah, what was that like? I've been to Chiller once and it was very unorganized. Had a lot of cool experiences there, but it was still very like, oh my god, we don't know where we're going.
Now we had that probably like a couple years ago, but now I think they kind of ironed out the details and stuff because it's a bigger con too. But unlike Monster Mania has a lot of people that go, as in like people going to see the guests. Yeah. And the area is so small that everybody's like, shoulder to shoulder.
That's the one thing is that at Chiller, there was areas that was shoulder to shoulder for sure. But there was also a room, like if you wanted to go to like classic TV, there was like all in one area kind of deal for the most part. There's a few areas that didn't make any sense, but whatever. It was still, that's where I met Charles Band. And Mr. Tony the Dead and I were in a video for Charles Band. And I got to meet Megan Ward, who I had a crush on forever ago from Freaked. Then I also met Adrienne Curry at that show. And I was trying to take a selfie with her and she just grabbed I was like nervous. So she just grabbed my phone and did a selfie of us together. She's like, just give me the phone. And she did it herself. And then that's also the same con where what's his face? Bud Bundy from Married with Children and also from Mr. Boogedy. David Faustino used me as a human shield. But yeah, that was also the same room that I met Charles Band and Adrian Curry was the same room that was all the Little House on the Prairie people, right across from a porn star and right near the girl that, or the little boy from Bad Grandpa that was swearing like a truck driver.
Yeah,
and also Bob from Sesame Street was in that room too.
Yeah, they have. I mean, they have a lot of rooms, and some of the rooms make no sense.
Right.
Because you will have one room where it's like, okay, a whole reunion. Like they had the Warriors reunion. They had E.T., D. Wallace, Henry Thomas, the older brother. I'm blanking on his name. And then the guy who actually played E.T., he's like half. He has no legs, so he was kind of going through the crowd on a skateboard.
Oh yeah, well that's kind of neat.
It was interesting.
Yeah,
but they were in one big room with a whole bunch of other people. But it's spread out wide enough where it's like, okay, if there's a big name, most of the big names are in this lobby area. So like the bigger names were like Cheech Marin and who else was there? Christy Brinkley.
Okay.
One of the people from Baywatch. One of the I can't think of her name now, but she was in that room. Roy Deep, the little guy from
Deep Roy.
Deep
I think
Roy.
He was in Freaked as well, by the way.
Was he?
Yeah, there was like one scene where the CEO or whatever, the spokesman or whatever, and it kept he was one of them. Yeah.
Okay. So he was there. A couple voice actors from Disney, the guy that played Bambi, and then the little girl from Mary Poppins. So they were like the bigger guests. And then I met Shermanator, Chris Owen. He was in American Pie. He was in Major Payne. So I met him. I met Dee Wallace, Samantha.
Again.
Yeah, for the third time.
I've never met her.
She says she wants to come back on, even though even though she didn't remember. She's like, I got a few other things that I'm going to be promoting soon. So I gave her the Wicked Horror Show card.
Nice.
And I'm just like, let us know, and we'll definitely get you on.
Yeah.
Who else? Samantha Mathis, who was Princess Peach in the Mario Brothers movie, the original one with John Leguizamo.
John Leguizamo and the guy
Bob
from
Haskins.
Roger Rabbit.
So
that movie's horrible, by the way.
It's one of those ones I used to watch all the time when I was younger. So
I was older when it came out, and I'm like, this is just bullshit.
Yeah, it has nothing. But she was like my first crush growing up, and I told her.
Yeah,
and she's like, "Oh, that's so
cute.
Like,
that's cool, creep. Get away from me.
Give me my money first, and then leave."
Oh, that's funny. Give me the money and then get the fuck out.
And then Henry Thomas was the other one I got. So
yeah,
cool. It was fun. It's definitely I'm getting the bug, so to say. My buddy's like, the more you go to, the only thing is it burns a hole in your pocket very quickly.
Right. Well, that's the thing is it's to the point where I'm very, very picky about who I meet. You can go up and say hi to anybody. You don't have to necessarily, you know what I'm saying? Like if need be, I would get an autograph, or I think even a photo is probably more personal than an autograph. Cause there's not like, what am I going to do with the autographs? Like they're on my wall and I'm like, I have no room for any more.
Me, I get my movies signed.
Right. Well, yeah, that's cool. But a photograph, it's like a little something image for, in time or whatever. It's a little more personal, I think. For me, I try to find cool shit to buy from like smaller vendors that are like artists or, they create cool products. Speaking of artists, in between our talk of the movies, I'm going to play possibly some videos, little Halloween themed stuff. I have some stuff planned, and there may be a surprise one in there. But yeah, so just keep that. Again, this isn't live. And we just wanted to. We didn't want to leave a week, because we've taken a week off recently. Didn't want to leave a week where, there was nothing going on, especially right after Halloween.
Exactly. Everybody's still in that little scary mood hangover.
Right,
That,
exactly.
but
And
I'm
we're talking
sure.
about Terrifier 2, which is huge, and Barbarian, which is one that I wanted to see for a long time. Like I've been hearing nothing but good things, and so yeah, and I know you didn't get a chance to check out Barbarian, but I definitely will share my views for sure. Um, other than that, is there anything that you've been watching recently that you think is worth people checking out?
Shutter recently put VHS 99
Yep, I watched it.
that came out I think last week, last Friday or something.
Hmm.
And they got better. Like the only VHS one I don't like is Viral.
Hmm.
Uh, I like the first two. Then 84, I think it was
Hmm.
pretty good. This one I was impressed with.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
There was a few stories that were cool.
Right.
So I dig it. So if you like the VHS series, check it out on Shutter 99 VHS 99. So that was pretty cool. What else did I see recently? Um, I checked something else out, but I can't.
Well, think about it.
I
And
will
well,
think.
I'm going to talk about Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosity. I wasn't going to say his full name because I'm usually messing it up, but
Mm,
so that just came out on Netflix very, very recently. And it's like 8 episodes. Each episode is directed by a different director. And it's got he produces all of it. So it's got his flair, you
mm.
know. I'm only 2 episodes in, but so far so great. I mean, there's a lot of really cool practical effects. There's some cool like digital effects that are mixed with practical, so it makes it, it blends well. Um, but each episode is, around an hour, I think. So it's easy watch. You can sit there and binge it. You can sit there and just watch an episode a night or whatever. But yeah, all 8 episodes are out now. I think they actually released them separately, like week by
Week
week
by
or
week.
day by day or something like that. But I wanted to wait till all of it was done just in case, in case I
I
wanted to binge it.
noticed. I noticed that's it seems to be the way now, where it's like on Netflix or even I was watching on Amazon Prime the Lord of the Rings,
Hmm.
Power of the Rings or whatever it is.
Yeah,
They would do it every Friday instead of dropping the whole.
right.
So I
That
guess
that is that new show with Steve Carell. That's kind of like I don't know if it's like a thriller kind of show, which is different than what he normally does. But they same deal. They did it like week by week, and my wife wants to watch it, but she wanted to wait till it was all done because she's like, you know how I am. I'm gonna start it and I'm not gonna stop until it's done. You know.
but I guess it's the way I look at it is it's probably like a not marketing ploy or whatever, but I'm sure it's like, okay, the only reason I buy that for, this month is so I can binge watch this show in 8 episodes and then I don't buy the
Right.
next month kind
Because
of
some
deal.
people
It's
are
like,
doing that. Like that's the thing. It was like I watched like on TikTok and stuff like that. I see like these things were like, oh, how to save money. If you're cutting cable, like a show is coming out, just subscribe to it for that month and then just cancel it. You know,
yeah,
and it's like, nah, I want to keep it because I find things like I didn't realize that the new season of Big Mouth came out, and I don't know if you ever watched that show. It's
is that the
ridiculous.
cartoon?
Yes, the Nick
Okay.
Kroll
Yeah.
cartoon. It is ridiculous. It's very inappropriate and it's
Mm.
great. Um, but anyways, do you want to get into Terrifier 2?
Sure. Before we get into it, another uh, thing at Chiller, I ran into Michael Levy,
Hmm,
who's from Fuzz on the Lens,
right.
and
Who had a big part to do with Terrifier 1 and 2, like the
yes.
visual effects and stuff like that.
So I was walking, and I get this tap on my shoulder, and I turn around, and it's him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, first of all, congratulations on.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's we didn't. I'm sure they expected a little bit of buzz, but
Well,
not
yeah.
the
I mean,
buzz they're
obviously,
getting.
people were like anxious for the movie. They wanted to see it, so they
But
knew
that was
something was coming. But
but
yeah,
that was like horror fans. Now you're getting it mentioned on like news
the Today
and
Show,
on
Stephen King.
Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw, they did a one of the announcers was like, "Oh, this guy's getting beat up like Art the Clown and Terrifier 2 or
Well,
whatever." And it's
because
like,
you got Jericho in it, you know,
yeah,
at the
but
end.
he's not on Raw anymore. He's
I
on
know,
the
but
other
still,
brand.
he's in the world, you know.
Yeah,
But yeah, so for those of you that are living under a rock, Terrifier 2 came out recently. limited run. It was supposed to be one weekend, Fathom Events, and it did so well. They did it the next weekend, did so well. They did it the next weekend, did so well. They put it in even more theaters than they did the first time around. So the first time around, I did it in 800 screens. And keep in mind, too, at least in my area, it was like one showing a day.
Yeah, that's
so
what
it was
we
like
had over here.
like a 10:30 show on like a Friday, 10:30 show on a Saturday, and maybe like a 7:30 on like a Sunday or something like that. The Lord's Day. And then the last weekend they ended up putting it in like in 1,000 theaters. When we went, there was a good amount of people, and I personally like people like I went with a friend who was 50-50 with the first one. He liked All Hallows Eve, but he was 50-50 with Terrifier. He's like, I like it, but there's things I don't like. I'm like, I get it, whatever. He's like, so he's like, I don't know. He's like, then I hear this is like 2.5 hours. He's like, is it really 2.5 hours for a horror movie? And I'm like, yeah. We went, and like on the way out of the theater, he's like, I really need to like rewatch the first one and All Hallows Eve. He's like, that was amazing. He's like, he's like, it's changed my mind on Terrifier. And he's a dude, like he introduced me to a lot of the horror that I love. This guy, Mike, he goes by Dynamo Mars, but he used to be part of Trick or Treat Radio. And he's introduced me to a lot of stuff that I hold dear to my heart. The first time I met him was when I went to go see Army of Darkness in the theater the weekend it came out. I met him, like he was a friend of a friend, and we all met up at the movie theater. I skipped school and went to see Army of Darkness in the theater. So yeah, he's a lot of influence on me, and he legit like hunched down in the seat a couple of times, and like verbally was like, oh, like a few times, which I thought was ridiculous. Like, because some of it was like so twisted, but it was still funny. Like there's a thing with fire, you know what I'm talking about, the kids show.
Yeah.
And he was like, whoa, like that, and then the mashed potatoes. He was like, oh my god, like
because just the way it happened, like
it's so ridiculous. Yeah.
Like leading up to it, he's like,
yeah.
So,
so it's just about 2.5 hours, 2 hours, 18 minutes. And I personally don't think anything should have been cut. There may have been some scenes you could have trimmed down a bit, but I personally, like, that's just being nitpicky. I wouldn't touch it. Like, I personally wouldn't touch it.
The only thing that I didn't really need, but it made for, like levity in the beginning, especially where he's in the laundromat and he's sitting there like completely.
Yeah.
That could have gotten cut down.
I thought that was great. It was a different side of art.
Yeah.
Totally different side of art. You never saw his ears before.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is David Howard Thornton as Art the Clown is he was always awesome. He's he's just such a great guy in general. I'm lucky enough to moderate a panel with him recently up at the sci-fi horror fest up in is it Vernon, New York, at the Vernon Downs Casino. We've met him a bunch of times. We've talked to him a bunch of times. He's just a legitimately good dude. Like, and when I talked to him at that con, he hadn't seen the movie yet because he wanted to experience it with the majority of the cast, which he did, which I totally respect. And it's even though like we've talked to Damien before, and it hasn't been as much as we've talked to David, I still like they're legitimately just good dudes who love like cool gore and just fun movies, and like I'm super happy for them. And I think stuff like this is huge for independent horror
going forward.
Yeah. I think that you may see more of this where they may give a chance, maybe a weekend for some of these independent horror movies. Because so I don't know what the goal was. I don't know what the budget was for this. I know that I think they raised $250,000. Yeah, I know they raised $250,000. I don't know if there was more put into it.
I don't know. All the articles that I've seen, it said that this movie that was made for 250 is now pushing $6 million.
Yeah, it was over 5. million just from the Fathom events. Plus, this is going to get a digital release. Obviously, it's going to be on Screenbox. It's a Screenbox exclusive.
I think it's on there already.
Oh, really?
I think so.
And it's also it's sometime in December. There's a limited or not an exclusive steelbook at Walmart for $20.
Yep,
which is a good deal. Again, it's something where no matter what your thoughts are on the movie, like I've talked to some people that legitimately love the movie. I talked to other people that I think they just want to be negative for the sake of being negative. Mm-hmm. I don't know. There's just some people that are like that, and but they can't argue the fact that this does a lot for independent horror. This is the movie that finally pushed Top Gun out of the number one spot. It's great. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And
it's one of those that.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say, and isn't Barbarian a more independent film too?
I don't know. I mean, it definitely had a bigger budget than Terrifier 2, from what I can tell. And that's the other thing too. So you go into it. I absolutely love Terrifier, the first one. I like All Hallows Eve a lot. I thought Terrifier was better than All Hallows Eve. I even, I didn't realize that Art was played by a different actor. And like one of the first things I said to them, and I felt dumb, was being like, "Oh my God, the actor playing Art, David, you stepped up your game." He's like, "Oh, it's a different actor. It wasn't Art in the original one." And I'm like, "Well, you made the right choice, because this Art is super like ominous and just like extra creepy." And for as much as I love Terrifier, I think Terrifier 2 blows Terrifier out of the water. Personally.
Well, that's because it has more of a plot to it. I think that's right. A lot of the people's, gripe with the first one. It's like for those people that just hate killing for killing, that's pretty much what the first one was. It's like, where did this guy come from? Why is he killing people? And, it's at least this one, you don't get everything you want to know. I'd like to know more, but you get a little bit more of a why he does it, like what's going on in his
there's
mind
like speculation. Kind of there's speculation in your mind too. Like, is it this? Like, is he gonna end up being that he was this in his, before he became Art? Like there's a lot of like things that just pop up in your mind as you're watching it. There, like you're trying to figure it out, because that's the one thing is we're always, as horror fans and movie buffs and stuff like that, we tend to read into things a little bit more than we probably should, and we try to figure things out even though we don't mean to. Sometimes we ruin it for us, sometimes we don't. And that being said, there's parts of Barbarian that are the same deal. Like I'm like, "Oh, he's this." I'm like, "No, I was wrong. He's not that." But so for Terrifier 2, there, obviously Terrifier has some really gory scenes that have left their mark on people. And I think this one outdoes it for sure. I think the movie looks fantastic. Like, I think it doesn't look, I mean, that's why I was assuming they raised more money than $250,000, because it looks like it cost more to make. Yeah. I mean, even so they have like the little thing, they talk about, a lot of it was done during the pandemic. The damn panic. A lot of it was done during the pandemic, so it was a little tough. So they were able to spend their time on certain stuff, like, and make it even crazier. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not disappointed one bit in Terrifier 2. And if anything, it makes me
so long to watch it.
Not at all. I'm not like, and that's the thing that kills me is that they had to hold their tongue on some stuff in this movie, and everyone in the cast had to hold their tongue on stuff. And great job. Like nothing was spoiled. I don't know if you remember. I don't know if David and Damien were on, or just David was on, but I had said something about how there's actually multiple arts, and like it's like almost like Cenobites, stuff like that. And they're like, "Oh," like they did that. I don't know if you remember that when the last time he was on the show, I want to say. And then I was kind of not wrong.
Yeah.
And that character is phenomenal. You're going to see people, because that's the thing, is you see people cosplay as Art, as it is, females cosplay as Art. Now they have another
Someone
character to
else.
cosplay as, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to,
Those
because
glowing eyes
oh my god,
in
like
certain scenes.
that's the thing, is that was one of the things that creeped my friend Mike out. He's like, oh Jesus Christ, that oh my god, he was like totally disgusted, but not disgusted, but terrified.
Yeah.
That's the title of the movie, by this little girl. Yeah, but and I don't know, man. It was I really, like, it didn't disappoint me one bit. Like, I was going in with very high hopes, and with very high hopes, but at the same time too being like, I may be let down, and maybe, but I don't know, and I think it's got some great rewatchability,
I think so too.
because
Because you'll
I mean,
catch more stuff each time. It's
right,
like
well, and
you
that's
might
the
have
thing
missed
is,
something.
there was all
And
these people that I don't know if, like, I remember hearing that these people were on set, they were doing things, like, they were whatever on set, and, like, I didn't see them in the movie.
yeah,
I saw Felissa, I didn't see other people in the movie, so now I have to find them.
yeah,
There's a scene where they're in the like the bar and they're dancing and stuff like that. There's a girl that I'm very friendly with, her and her husband. Uh, they're in a lot of trauma stuff, and I see
okay.
them at cons all the time. They're very cool, and she's like front and center dancing. I'm like, in one of those scenes, I'm like, oh my god, it's them! And I was like, literally. So the way that it was at the con, it was David. Then the next booth over was me. There was the next booth over was another podcast, and then behind that booth there was like a curtain, and on the other side of that curtain was this woman and her husband.
Okay.
Because yeah, and they were there like for trauma stuff and like doing like horror makeup and stuff like that. And they're in a ton of like New York and like New Jersey, like independent horror. Like they go to be extras on like everything. So it's pretty neat,
Well,
like, seeing people that you know.
that's a good thing. They picked the right one to jump on because this one is quite big. I've
Yeah.
heard, you know, talking about naysayers and stuff. They were talking that bedroom scene. I
Hmm.
think a lot of people, some people are, like that has to be one of those, like, if you have a top 100 kill scenes,
Yeah.
I think that vaulted over a lot because that's
Well,
going to
but
be
that's
one
the
of
thing,
those,
is
like,
even the chainsaw from the first one is going to be in that top 100. Like,
yeah,
so you have two like from the franchise, and not for nothing. For as much as I love a lot of horror that I love, it's so much more brutal than a lot of the stuff that people consider legendary kill scenes.
yeah, people that, like, I got a lot of people at my job that always know that I'm into horror movies and stuff, and they're
Yeah,
like, "Is this thing as bad?" I'm like, "Trust me." I'm like,
yeah,
"I've seen a lot of stuff, and that scene, that bedroom scene, I was like, wow!" Like
yeah.
right when I watched it,
Right,
I you know
right.
texted you,
And
and
my
I'm
friend
like,
Ryan from That Strange Show, right? I saw him at a con before he had seen it, and he's like, "Be honest with me. Is it really so brutal that people are throwing up or people are passing out or whatever?" I'm like, "I'm not." I'm like, "But if I took friends that aren't into horror movies and not into gore, or whatever, that don't know what they're getting into, if I took them, they may react in a certain way. Like, I personally, I mean, I find it amazing. Like, I thought it was great and done extremely well. But for me, because, and I mean, you can see where I'm getting at. Like, we both know, like, okay, this is something, right?
yeah,
But we're not going to be the people like, "Ugh, ugh, we're not going to be throwing up. But you can see where someone who is like, oh, geez, I heard the buzz about this movie, I'm going to go check it out. They're like, what the hell did I just get myself into?
yeah,
Like that kind of deal.
because
Um,
they would talk. They're like probably 15 seconds into that, like, what is it, 3-minute scene?
yeah,
The normal person would have either been dead or like passed out,
right,
but it just kept going and
right.
going. Then it was a break, and then it's going
Goes
again.
back. Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell is going
Yeah.
on here? I'm like, there
Yeah.
was a few things that just got, it made me cringe, and then there was a net, like the worst thing is the hand for me.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. There's
that I
certain
was
things
like,
that get me.
oh
There's
man.
certain things that get me. Hand stuff gets me. Teeth get me.
Mm.
Eyeball stuff gets me. Um,
And this one had a little bit of everything.
yeah. Actually, I would say the only thing that really made me feel nauseous ever in a movie, and it's not even a horror movie, was the paper cuts in Jackass, one of the Jackass movies, when Steve was doing paper cuts. That got me.
One of the things was that, I forget, what is it, Saw 2 or 3,
Mhm.
where she gets thrown into those needles, those
Yeah.
hypodermic needles. That made me because that I've had needles before, so I know
Yeah.
the feeling.
Oh
So
yeah.
getting thrown into it, like other things, I've never gotten my head cut off or anything like
Well,
that. So
there's still time. You're still young.
yeah, this is
Um,
true.
yeah. But so needless to say, this did not disappoint. And there's like for real, I was actually you brought up like your favorite kills, and like there's favorite kills in my mind, like the whole sleeping bag like murder in one of the Friday the 13th movies, like Kevin Bacon, arrow through the neck, stuff
Yeah,
like that. And like this movie's so much more brutal.
yeah,
So much more brutal. Even like stuff like with in like Phantasm, like where it's like, drilling through and his blood splurting out, stuff like that. Like that gets me too, but it's weird. Like maybe it's because they're classics and and again, it may be something where because I was new to it at that time, it had more effect on me. Whereas now I'm jaded and this
yeah.
doesn't have as much effect on me. But I wonder if some of these people that saw this movie and like felt nauseous, if this is going to be like, this is the most messed up thing I've ever seen in my life, and it's going to stick with them for the rest of their lives, you know?
I'm sure.
Yeah,
Definitely if you're because it's getting so much hype for a horror movie. I've never seen, especially like an independent
right.
movie. I don't see many horror movies in general getting,
And I was going to
news.
say, let's face it, right? We have Freddy, we have Jason, we have Leatherface, we have the Tall Man, we have whatever. Those are all old school horror in our, not in our minds maybe, but think about when they came out. And this is like legit, like the birth. I mean, Terrifier was the start, obviously,
Yeah,
the start of art. But he's like the character is it's a horror icon. Like it's not
yeah,
going to go away, even if they don't do any more movies. It's not going to go away. Like art's place in horror history is there
yeah,
for multiple reasons. Um, and it stinks to think this way too, but I'm hoping beyond hope that they do continue, and I'm hoping beyond hope that David continues to be art. Like I know that they're not intending of whatever, but like how many people have played Jason? I mean,
yeah.
the only real like the Tall Man has been the Tall Man, but there's been how many different Leather Faces? There's been how many whatever, but
Michael Myers
there's only been one Freddy. Well, that's not true. There was
with
the
the remake.
right where yeah, but yeah. So I'm just hoping beyond hope, and also too, I'm hoping beyond hope that if you do more movies, that they're gonna know when to stop.
Yeah, that
You know,
usually, but I don't see. Well, I guess technically, like the Sharknadoes would have been somewhat independent that they just kept on going to make money and stuff. But this,
but those were
the,
jokes. Like those movies were like they were big, but they were jokes. Like
yeah,
they were ridiculous. Like don't get me wrong, like Toxic Avenger, stuff like that. Like that's iconic as well. Sergeant Kabuki Man. There's multiple characters in Trauma that are iconic, stuff like that. But it's weird to think that however many years ago David Howard Thornton was a waiter, waiting tables, doing plays, stuff like that, whatever, and now he's Art the Clown, and he's a genuinely like good dude, super approachable, just awesome with his fans, and I don't know, I couldn't be happier. Like he's such a good dude, and it's crazy. It's really, and there's a lot of stuff coming for him, and it's already in the works. Like he's told me some stuff, where he's working with some legends, and it's like that's huge.
yeah,
I don't know. Did you see? There's a thing posted where he plays like a Grinch type character.
I did
Um,
not.
yeah, it's like a Christmassy themed one, but it's like a horror Grinch kind of deal. And it's another one of those movies where he's covered in latex. So now the next step is I want to see him in a bunch of stuff because the dude can act. I
Yeah,
want to see, and that's the thing is that with this Grinch one, it's going to be able to, show his acting a little bit more. But I want to see him. I want to see his face. I want to see him in stuff. And I don't know. He's gonna be one of those dudes. Like he already is one of those dudes where there's like already a line at his table, but it's not gonna go away. I don't think.
definitely not. Especially when he does his stuff in like costume.
Oh my
It's just
god.
going to be. But the other thing with this one too is now you bring in some other characters. Like now there's a nemesis. Well, Art is now the nemesis to a badass character. Like I think talking about cosplaying, I think a lot of people are
Oh
going to
yeah.
be dressing up with those angel wings and
Yep.
stuff sooner or later.
That's
So
exactly what he had said. So I 3D printed lenticular like VHS tape for Terrifier 2 with art in one corner and her character in the other corner. He's like, "Oh my god, you got her in there too." He's like, I keep telling her, you don't know what's coming. It's coming.
yeah,
You know, you're gonna have people cosplaying as you. You're gonna have people like freaking out because they're meeting you. And she's like, I don't know. And he's like, keep telling her it's coming. It's coming. And you know, and it is. And I can't wait to meet her. Hopefully she's at, you know, some cons, you know. It's because
there's
she
one
was
in
awesome.
Pennsylvania, Monster Mania, Pennsylvania.
Oh
Their
yeah.
Pennsylvania one. It's going to be David Howard Thornton and her.
Nice.
So
That'd be cool if they have the opportunity. Like because that's a bigger that's a bigger con. Because I know he doesn't do the full makeup if it's smaller because it takes so much time
yeah,
and stuff like that. That'd be cool. Oh, is Damien gonna be there too?
I don't know. Those are the only two I know because I usually don't look for that. I usually look for the New Jersey one.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was talking to Michael, he was
Mm-hmm.
saying now I think they're wrapping up the stuff in the theaters and they're going to go streaming. And he's like, then I think it's going to be the rounds of all the cons and stuff to
Yeah.
get more hype on it and
Imagine
stuff like that. So,
imagine that photo op. Like that's one that I would definitely pay for. Like art on one side, her on the other side,
oh, definitely.
and just you're in the middle, like, meh, what am I
Yeah.
supposed to do? You know? Um,
Yeah.
oh, that'd be sick. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm super happy for them. Actually, let me see. I don't know if I'll be able to show it. This is another reason why people need to watch the show as opposed to just listening to it. So I got a new computer, you see, and in that new computer, I don't know if it's on my thing. I don't think it is. I was going to say, I thought I was going to be able to show the, no, I'm not. I don't have it. The Art the Clown, like Terrifier 2 lenticular, but I don't have it on my Instagram.
Mm.
But go check out my Instagram. I'll post it up there. It came out pretty good, I think. You know, for me, just trying to figure out how to do things. The first one I did, that was like how I'm thinking about doing it to try to maybe even sell for people, like to people.
Well, that's the same thing that you have behind you, right?
Right,
Little
but
VHS.
it's an actual VHS tape. It's like one that I hollowed out. As
Oh,
opposed to
okay.
that one is gigantic. That one took me forever to print. So this was like I have a paper bag that my niece gave me full of VHS tapes that I can just like bastardize and just
Okay.
right. Take the reels out, you know, have to do some like work with a Dremel, stuff like that, install some lights. But yeah, it came out pretty cool, I think. But so yeah, needless to say, go check out Terrifier 2.
Definitely.
And you know, if you know, I didn't even realize that Screenbox was a thing. So now it's making me want to check out Screenbox, although I already pay for Shudder.
Yeah.
It seems like Screenbox may have like there's a lot of foreign horror and stuff like that on Shudder, which is not a negative in any way, shape, or form. There's a lot of stuff that I've never would have had the opportunity to see if I didn't have Shudder. So I'm wondering if things like Terrifier, you know, if they have maybe some more independent, some smaller stuff. Even though Terrifier 2 is gigantic. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to see what this does for them. I'm sure it's going to be huge.
Yeah, and then Michael said that the movie Stream is almost coming out. The stuff that the Fuzz on the Lens guys
Nice.
worked on with, you know, everybody collaborating from Terrifier too. So that one should be coming out soon.
Nice.
So I'm excited for that. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I think we mentioned it before, but the pandemic kind of helped in a way because Terrifier got its name on Netflix when there was nothing else there. So it had enough hype from horror fans, of course, but I'm sure anybody that watched that on Netflix that wouldn't have seen it before,
right,
got a little hype from there, which then carried over into now. Plus, we were talking about the old school movies of the 80s. The thing that is helping movies nowadays is the social media and just the outlet of so much stuff out there. Back then, it was the news and that was about it, word of mouth.
Yeah.
Now it's the news and social media and TikTok and Instagram and websites and all that stuff. So, you know, I think that's definitely helping out this one for sure.
Yeah. Well, go pre-order your copy of it at Walmart. You know, it's an awesome steelbook would be a cool thing to have signed at a con. And fingers crossed, there's that photo opportunity coming up. You know, it would be pretty dope. So there's that. And now that we're done talking about Terrifier 2, I'm going to play some Halloween themed music of sorts, and we'll be right back.
The tape will enter your mind. The tape will enter your mind. When I snap my fingers, you'll awake. Awake!
I know how you're feeling inside. I see the pain. I see the pain. Now I know where you're lurking to at night, out in the fog and in the rain. With that smile and that hair around your neck, you'll never take a look right back at your reflection. When murder's on your mind, you got nothing left to lose, 'cause you're waking up with no recollection. Stay away from me. I know that you're spineless inside. I see the bones. I see the bones. You know that this life ain't yours to live. You gotta let go. Oh, this soul. With those eyes and that tongue you use for talking, you'll be killing honeys faster than you think. A little loneliness and a drink from a magic potion, and you're swimming in blood faster than you sink. With that smile, he's got hands around your neck, and he'll never look right back at his reflection. He's got murder on his mind and nothing left to lose, 'cause he's waking up with no recollection. With those teeth, he's got hands around your neck, and he'll never look right back at his reflection. He's got murder on the mind and nothing left to lose, 'cause he's waking up with no recollection. Yeah, he's waking up with no recollection. Yeah, he's waking up with no recollection.
What's the matter with you people? What's the matter with you people? Can't you see it? Can't you appreciate it? It's something coming out of my home.
guys are gonna go home and somebody's gonna be like, what was your favorite part of the show? And it's gonna be like, I like the part when Granddad's a Funk came and checked Miss Matrix head for ticks.
I'm melting like a pickle. The grasshoppers cover my eyes. I'm sleeping in the needles. The lab rats are waving goodbye. You're never gonna get me alive. You're never gonna take me alive. You're never gonna get me alive. So call my. I'm covered with mosquitoes. I'm sinking in your elephant's hand. The spiders and burritos are diving with a dinosaur man. You're never gonna hear me again. You're never gonna see me again. You're never gonna feel me again. Suck on mine. Dracula, 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 Dracula. I'm not just like a bunny. I'm not just something big in the sky. I'm taking all your money. You're never gonna get me alive. You're never gonna take me alive. Well, they're not good. Oh.
Hey guys, we're back. How'd you like those jams? Am I right? Halloween, whoop whoop. Barbarian. This is one that I've been wanting to see for a while. You didn't get a chance to check it out yet.
Not yet.
It is I've heard nothing but good things, and they weren't wrong. So this has got some people we know. It's got Bill Skarsgård in it.
Okay.
AKA Pennywise the Clown, the dancing clown. It's also got Justin Long in it. Kurt, it's a very small part, but he's a comic. Kurt Brown, I forget I don't want to say his name. He's very funny though. He's only in like one scene, but I was like, oh my god, is that guy? So this movie, it's pretty good. It makes you think things are a certain way for like a few times, things are happening and you're like, okay, is this place haunted? Is it really this dude who's doing this? Is he all part of this? And you're like, oh, I guess I was wrong. It's like, all right, now that happened. Now this guy's coming in. Is it like an anthology? Because the story like picks up more than once from different angles. Like it starts off with a girl showing up at this house in the slums, but it's an Airbnb. And she goes in there and it's an Airbnb, whatever, stuff happens, and then it picks up with someone else, and then they go into the same house, but there's something else going on in their life. And something happens and it picks up with someone else. And it's like, so it's like, is this like an anthology thing where things are going to come into play and blah, 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 like whatever. So it comes at it from a couple different angles, but I really dug it. It flowed great. It's got some really like, just, even though there isn't a ton of like big bad monster stuff or gore, what's there is gross. And it's just like, oh, that's nasty. Why do we have to look at this? And then there's also some good tension. Like there's a lot of like suspense in this one as well. It's really good. I'm curious your thoughts when you do get a chance to check it out. So this is streaming, but it's also in theaters still. I'm trying to think. I don't know what service it's streaming on. I forget. but Showtime. I think it's on Showtime. But yeah, it's one that I would definitely recommend checking out. What have you heard about it? Like, other than like people being like, you need to check out Barbarian.
That's pretty much it. I didn't hear much about the plot. I didn't hear much about the because in
It's
my mind,
I avoided
hearing-
trailers as soon as I heard someone say like, "Oh, you need to check this out." I avoided trailers because I'm like, I don't want to spoil anything.
That's exactly that. Because in my mind, I'm hearing like Barbarian, and I'm thinking like some
Conan,
kind of like
Yeah.
creature from
like
you
a
know,
big Viking
millennium
guy.
ago
Yeah.
or something,
Yeah.
tearing people apart kind of deal. So that's what in my mind it would have been, but it doesn't sound like it's anywhere close to that,
No,
which isn't
not
a
at all.
bad thing. So it's something that I I try to do it a lot of the times, trying to go into stuff blind, but sometimes curiosity gets the best of me. So I'll
Right.
definitely check out the trailer. But this one I like know nothing about,
Right.
except I've heard
Of it,
more
yeah. You just
good
heard of it, yeah.
more good reviews and bad reviews. It's one of those like I don't hear many bad ones to tell you the truth. So
Yeah. And I'm one of the ones saying it's good. Um, it's creepy. It's almost got like it's got like a statement a few times in the movie as well. Like the way the cops treat certain people and whatever. It's like so it's got kind of like some people may be dismissed, because of certain things and like things are going on, but no one's gonna help because they're who they are or they look the way they look, whatever. Because it takes place in a, like I said, an Airbnb, but it's an Airbnb in like a place that used to be like the heart of America kind of deal. It's like, this whole like community, then it just all fell to shit. So it's like all these abandoned houses and this one house in the center of it. The only house that people are taking care of is this one house, and it's surrounded by like slums, like homeless people and stuff like that. So they just assume because you're coming from that area that you're a junkie or whatever. So I don't want. I already feel like I'm saying too much, but it's really good, and I'm curious your thoughts for sure. Other than that, the Pearl is streaming now. It's available for rent. That's the prequel to X,
which I dug too.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I'm a Ty West fan, so I asked one friend if they saw it, and he said they did, but they found it kind of boring. But they didn't like X. I'm like, all right, well then, whatever. You probably also don't like Innkeepers, or you probably don't, it's funny because I want to say this person didn't like Innkeepers. The only one that they liked was Sacrament out of all Ty West movies. And I'm like, that's probably my least favorite, honestly. Like, Sacrament's great. But as far as the features that I've seen of Ty West, I think Sacrament's my least favorite. House of the Devil, then it goes Innkeepers, and then probably X, and then Sacrament for me. And we'll see about Pearl. But yeah, I don't know. I really got nothing else other than Happy Halloween to everyone, even though we're a day late. It's actually technically early because it's Sunday when we're recording this. Yeah. And again, Sergio, we're not live, so we haven't been ignoring you. We're not live, Sergio. It's okay. So do you have anything else that you want to say before we wrap things up?
Not really. No.
Keep your buttholes tight, everyone. No, so yeah, that's that. Thanks for watching / listening. And where can people find you, Tony?
You can find me at Tony Has Nine Fingers on YouTube, where I do movie reviews, unboxings, anything along those lines. Anything movie related, you'll find on there. Tony Has Nine Fingers on Twitter. Tony Has Nine Fingers on TikTok, which is now pretty much my
go-to,
I guess you want to call it, because I still do Instagram, YouTube not as much, but TikTok is where I put. It's easier, it's quicker, and stuff like that, and it's the fastest growing platform that I have. So check out.
I did hear that they're going to be mixing things up, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
So we'll see. Now, I mean, it's I don't live by it, but
right,
like I said,
but I spend most of my besides it's Instagram and TikTok for me. That's what I'm on mostly.
So
Tony watching stuff. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, but Tony Has Nine Fingers on all those except for Instagram. Check me out, Tony's Movies, where I post a lot of the movies I have behind me, and then tag everybody in it, and that's how some of the times we get our guests
Right.
because of you know I'll post a
Yeah, you're
picture.
tagging about a movie,
They'll
and they're like,
tag
"Hey."
them and then,
Yeah.
oh, thank you for the promotion or whatever. Speaking of the last guest for Crabs, uh, you said I believe that it should be streaming now
I think so. Yeah.
everywhere. So check out Crabs as well. I guess we could drop that, but yeah, check that out, and also the Wicked Horror Show Instagram. My phone's been my other phone that I have it attached to has been messing up, so I haven't been able to keep up. But I'm trying to fix it, and then I'll
Mhm.
get back up on that. So, but Wicked Horror Show, check out guests we've had on before, any other future guests or whatever. And honestly, to tell you the truth, I don't think we've ever mentioned, but if you ever want to get in contact and maybe give us, if you know someone that might be looking to help like need promotion, or if you're watching and you are someone who might need a little help promoting a movie, definitely get in touch with us.
Yeah,
So
yeah, for sure. I think it's on my Instagram. It's on. I don't know if it's on yours. I know it's on the Wicked Horror Show one, but there's a link tree, and it's got a direct link to our email, our Gmail account, so you can just send us a message or send us a private message or do whatever. And yeah, we'll see if we can get something figured out. And whatever. And actually, before I give my little spadoinkles as well, guy who's part of the show, he's not on as much as he used to be, but 13th Wolfman, he's just wrapping up his 31 days of
31
Halloween. So go check out his YouTube, just 13th the 13th Wolfman on YouTube. Why did I just brain fart there? On YouTube. And yeah, you can see he did a video every day of the month talking about a different horror movie. He puts a lot of work into it. So go check that stuff out. And then for me, just A Knuckle on Instagram. I don't really mess around with Facebook other than the Wicked Horror Show Facebook. And also our YouTube and everything. So if you're listening, go subscribe to our Facebook, go subscribe to our YouTube. And you can watch the video, you can comment on stuff, you can watch live. And we go live Tuesday nights generally Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And thanks again for watching / listening. And yeah, till the next time. Goodbye.